Hey guys, so I want to come on here and make a quick video about some tips with tuning the FRT. So mine in particular is a 17 Gen 3. We can see here it's clear. And there's no switch, no autos here. So here's something that one of the first things that I learned that I haven't seen anybody talk about that's very important. So I have a trigger group already out of here. This was the standard that came in my lower, and I'll get to that here in a minute. But something very important that I don't see a lot of people point out. If you're going to, like, when you initially put it in, if you're trying to rack your slide and it's like catching back here and it's not, you know, very buttery smooth like it should be, but you go to pull it back and it's got like this catch to it, and if it's happening, you'll know what I'm talking about. I'll tell you how to fix that. The way you fix that is these little ramps. I'm trying to get it in focus here. This bar needs to be polished right here, okay? And right there where it rides up that ramp on both sides, right there, and right there up that little incline there. The undersides of these need to be polished. And you need to take a Dremel tool and, you know, kind of round them off. So that when this moves forward, what's happening is it's catching, and as it tries to move forward like that up the ramp, it's catching sharply, and it's like that. You know what I mean? You're getting that interaction between the metal and the plastic, and it digs into it. Now, you can technically just fire the gun until it smooths that out, and that does happen over time. It'll wear itself in, but it is a lot better if you take and grind those down and then polish them until they're smooth. So that's the first important thing. Next are some of the parts that I found that helps it work a lot better. So I ended up getting the Ghost 3.5 pound complete kit, which came with the disconnector bar, and I'm going to show you in mine here in just a second. Let me get this out of here. So this is the stock one, but I'm going to show you what you need to take off. Okay? All right, there's something else I see people point out, but they don't really point it out, okay? You're going to want to shave this thing all the way down till that's flush right there, okay? And on the Ghost, you have like these two little notches that are into it. If you look here, let me get my little pointer here. If you look on mine, do you see how mine's completely flush underneath that? That's how you want it, right there. On the Ghost one, there's like these two little lines. There's a line there, and then another line that runs at an angle. And if you have one, like when you get your actual Ghost disconnector, you're going to see like this little line etched to it, into it here, and then another one kind of at an angle. You're going to want to go down to that second line. At least mine did. And I found when I shaved it down to that second line, that created that right there, and then I rounded it off nice and smooth, and that's what it should look like. Okay, so that's how you want that. Moving on, I replaced the spring also. Okay, so the spring that came in this kit that made the trigger pull much smoother, and it just makes it run more reliably. Another part that I upgraded in mine was I put the turbo cup in there. Just helps with the firing pin, keeps that stuff clean. I upgraded my striker spring, but I run my own homemade ammunition, so I'm running reloads, and so I went with the heavier spring, the 6-pound firing spring in mine, and the 6-pound trigger spring does make your trigger pull smoother, so make sure you get one of those. And then I went with the Serpico Performance trigger. I picked the silver one, and you know, the trip. So the other thing is something else I don't see a lot of people point out. You're gonna, like, some of them that you buy already are gonna have your trip shaved down and rounded, and I've noticed that each gun has its own liking. So in my case, mine's slightly pointier, and I think it may even help if I round that off just a tiny bit more, but it depends on your barrel and the way that it interacts with your barrel. In my case, I've got, you know, a stainless steel ported setup, and mine ended up rounding off the edge right there a little bit more. And if it seems like if I might be able to take a tiny bit more off, but if I take any more off, it's not going to interact with the barrel the way that it needs to reset the trigger. So be careful about that. You do not want to round them off too much. Some of them and certain models of guns do need to be a little bit pointier than others. And then last and most importantly, you're going to need to get you a spring kit. Like I got mine from Aim Surplus because I'm lucky and I have the actual Aim Surplus store right down the street from where I live. But people say go directly to a 22-pound spring. That's bullshit, because if you try to run a 22-pound spring with anything other than plus P or plus P plus ammo, which is expensive to run in an FRT, it's just not going to operate. Now, the biggest reason people say that, because I'm running hand loads and it runs fine, you're gonna want to find what tuning works for you. Like right now, I got the 19-pound spring in until it gets broke in, and this is the reason why. If you look, and you can see it on the barrel, there's some marring on the underside of the barrel here, and on the top side there, and you'll notice this with all of them. You see that marring there. That is interacting with the inside of this right here, because the way that that trip pushes on it, it's forcing it either up or down at an angle like that as it's coming, you know, as the ramp drops down to load your next round. It's forcing it down. That's where you're getting that marring at the top, and then as it's coming back up, the marring at the bottom. And that's just something that you can. I polished my barrel really well. That's why I chose a stainless steel one. But if you have like a regular Glock barrel, it's just going to take shooting it to break that in. It does help though if you polish the inside of this right here. I found that helped a lot as well. I'm trying to think what else. I think those are the biggest pointers that I haven't seen anybody else point out. I think if you do those things, oh, another important one right here. So you can see also right there. I had to polish this, and you can still see it's even worn itself in more than that. And then the top inside of the slide there. It's hard to see. You can see where I polished the inside of that and got the Cerakote off of there. Those are all surfaces, and along with your sides inside there, are going to need polished off. All these things are going to help make it more reliable and run the first time you take it. It's pretty normal the very first time you shoot it. If your slide's reciprocating slowly, or you're just getting a couple of bursts, that means you're doing good. It's otherwise going to function. It's just going to take a little bit of time. The biggest thing is for that barrel to wear in. That barrel and the inside of that slide right there. Once those two parts get worn in, it'll pretty much run flawlessly, as long as you're not catching back here in this. My entire bar, I polished the entire thing, so it's very smooth, and it is not going to hurt if you take the time to do that. It's just going to make it more reliable. But yeah, I think that's just about it. I just wanted to point those things out and let you guys know what I used. If you have any questions, you can leave a comment below. Alright, you guys have a good one.